Hello everybody, this is Tyler here once again from the Character Workshop. First of all, I do apologize for the lackluster lighting in here. It's like almost 6 o'clock here as I'm recording this, but it's not, dark as I would say, so I decided not to bother having the lights on. I'm not even in my dorm room, I'm just, in one of the quiet areas, but this video is, interesting that I plan on doing. I just, felt bored and, this is like something I've kind of wanted to do a video about for like a couple weeks. So I might make this like, like a new series on the channel. Maybe not necessarily, on a full scale, like, some of my other stuff. But hopefully this will like actually last, unlike the Ronnie Vlogs thing, which did not last very long. But, yeah, so this will be just like a random like little series where I just like randomly like talk about stuff related to my content. I guess you kind of say it's basically behind the scenes with Leroy from my Leroy ABM channel, but without Leroy and just me, basically. So, I mean, if you guys are not subscribed to the Leroy ABM channel, you guys wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but regardless. So for the first topic that I'm going to be doing for this video, and this is something, like I said, I've thought of for a couple weeks. I wanted to do a video where I basically would discuss my top 5, in my opinion, the top 5 most overrated characters on my videos. Characters that I think, you guys, my fans, kind of give a little bit too much attention to. Some of these characters aren't necessarily bad characters, but like I just don't get the appeal for them. I just, don't like personally like them as characters. Some of them at least. But without further ado, let's get on to the bottom of the list, number 5, and I'm gonna put the entire cast of TW Simpsons at number 5. Now I know this is probably gonna like piss off a lot of people because TW Simpsons was one of the more popular shows on my channel for a while, and I can understand why people would be pissed off that I would say that. But here's a few reasons why I think the TW Simpsons characters are pretty overrated. First of all, like I think the videos themselves, like I feel like that series kind of gets like, a bit more attention than it should, especially compared to like, some of the older juggernauts on my channel, like, TCW and Angry Birds Mania. Like, I feel like TCW Simpsons have kind of like, taken over the popularity of those two shows, like, unfairly. That's one reason why I don't really like them. And the second reason, unlike a lot of characters in my videos, I didn't really do anything different with the Simpsons characters in terms of their personalities. Like, you can basically just watch like an episode of TW Simpsons and they're like, yep, that's how Homer usually acts, that's how Bart usually acts. Maggie doesn't do jack crap, that's Maggie. Like, in terms of personalities, I didn't really do anything different with them, compared to like, what you would see on the actual TV show. And yeah, I just, don't really find them super interesting. I do like, there's a reason why I put them at the bottom of the list in terms of overrated characters. But I don't hate them. I don't mind them because, I mean, obviously they are the personalities of the Simpsons characters, and, that's, in general, pretty good. And, there's a few episodes of TW Simpsons that are very rewatchable. My personal favorite being The Leak from Season 3, Episode 10. So that's number 5. And for number 4, I'm going to put Crash Bandicoots from TCW. So, main reasons why I think this character is overrated, people do like the character for some reason, despite the fact that, I mean, unlike The Simpsons, he actually does have a somewhat different personality than Crash from the games. He's a bit more talkative, has like a very stereotypical Australian accent, which I think, honestly, if Dingo Dial was a character in my series, that would have fit him way more, but that's besides the point. So, unlike The Simpsons, he does have a personality, but like, then again, it's Crash Bandicoot. And, out of the 3 Crash characters I have on TCW, like, he's the least interesting in my opinion, I feel like Coco and Cortex are both way more interesting, despite the fact that they haven't had as many appearances or as much fanfare on my channel as Crash has. I don't know. I think another reason why I think he's, overrated is because, well, I mean, he is a main video game character, Weirdly enough, a lot of the video game characters, on my channel are, like, way more popular than, like, others. And I was considering putting other video game characters on the list, but, I feel like it would be, a bit too far, I would say. And, like I said, even though he's overrated, like, Crash is not a bad character, he does some, good things, good scenes every now and then. My personal favorite from him was the Shrek's puppet two-parter from season 13, which is really ironic because you think with the episode being called Shrek's Puppet, it would have been like a Shrek episode, but no, it was mostly just Crash focused. But yeah, that was probably like my favorite appearance of his, but besides that, not really a huge fan of him, I'll be honest. And continuing on with TCW, at number 3, I'm gonna put Beavis and Butthead. I don't really have too much to say about Beavis and Butthead. Like, you know, there are some people that like, you know, kind of, you know, enjoy those characters a little bit too much, I would say. I mean, they've been asked questions, you know, in the Q&As, you know, quite a lot. And, you know, literally kind of like The Simpsons, you know, Beavis and Butthead, they sort of suffer from the same problem as the Simpsons characters on my channel. They just, like, don't have, like, any personalities or any, like, you know, differences between, you know, their plush counterparts and, you know, the real deal, basically. So that's, like, one of the reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of them. And, you know, obviously the fact that people actually, you know, pay too much attention to them. But, at the same time, they're not, like, the worst. They're not as interesting as, like, you know, Crash or the Simpsons characters, but, like, you know, they do have, like, a few good moments every now and then. You know, they surprisingly, you know, were pretty responsible for one of Domo's, like, events during his childhood. Like, there was literally an episode from season 4 called Domo's Childhood Nightmare where he tells tales about a story of, like, you know, Beavis and Butthead mistaking Domo for a brownie and eating him and crapping him out, and Domo being kind of traumatized about it. Like, that's like one of the few good appearances of Beavis and Butthead, and, you know, there are a few, you know, pieces here and there where they're okay, but, like, besides that, you know, don't really care too much about them. And now we get on to the 2 characters that I am probably the most pissed off get a lot of attention. So for the runner-up on this video, and the number 2 most overrated character on the channel, in my opinion, is Quagmire from DCW. I mean, I feel like I would put, like, any Family Guy character on the list, but Quagmire, I think, just kind of takes the cake out of all of them. I don't know. So, how is he compared to, like, you know, Beavis and Butthead and the Simpsons characters? I mean, just like them, he's relatively the same. He's not that different from, you know, his TV counterparts, but yeah. I mean, the only, like, good things I would say about Quagmire is that, you know, he's not an actual, like, plush, as some people might think he is. He's actually, the Quagmire in TCW is actually, like, some sort of, like thing that you put on top of golf clubs. I don't know what they're called. I don't know too much about golf, despite the fact that I have a puppet character who's obsessed with golf. But yeah, that's like one of the only redeeming qualities of Quagmire. Besides that, I just honestly do not care about him whatsoever. You know, a part of me, honestly, for the most part, regrets having the Family Guy characters on my channel, which is one of the reasons why, spoiler alert, I killed off Stewie at the very end of the Welcome Home Tales movie from recently. I just, like I said, I could have put all the Family Guy characters on the list, but, like, I think Quagmire takes the cake just for, you know, the fact that he gets, you know, a tad bit too much attention from the fans, and, you know, obviously the very infamous turkey prime rib thing from, you know, one of the Q&As that later inspired a TCW episode. So yeah, just for, like, a lot of those reasons alone, and, you know, just my bias, you know, for South Park and The Simpsons is kind of why I put Quagmire at number 2. So, before I get to number 1, I'm going to mention a few honorable mentions. The first one being Leroy and Larry from Angry Birds Mania. I didn't put them on the list for 2 main reasons. One, I personally like the characters, especially Leroy. And second of all, I only would consider them overrated because, you know, they were only, like, those 2 characters were, like, heavily obsessed by, like, one particular fan of the series, to the point where, like, they made, like, you know, an entire group of characters just for, you know, Leroy and Larry to hang out with, you know, besides the friggin' birds. But yeah, I'm not putting them on the list because, you know, they're good characters, and, you know, I honestly, you know, as annoying as it got after a while, I did kind of enjoy, you know, some of the, you know, side characters that, you know, were kind of a part of Leroy and Larry's life before they got killed off at the very end of season 1 of Leroy and the Bros. And the only other honorable mention I'm gonna, you know, mention in this video, I think would just be, like, kind of like I said with Crash Bandicoot. I would put like every other video game character in an honorable mentions list. Maybe not all of them. I think the few on the top of my head that I'll probably put is Mario, Luigi, Wario, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. Those are probably like my top 5 that I would say like the most overrated of the video game characters. Some of the others I feel like don't get as much like, you know, like attention. Like now the reason why I was considering putting them on the list is because, you know, they get asked a lot of questions during the Q&As for one thing. And you know, I've noticed that like, you know, a lot of people like, you know, whenever they ask questions in the Q&A, it's usually just the video game characters and not like, you know, anybody else like freaking Skipper or I mean they do ask questions for Skipper, but like, you know, Skipper, freaking Porpoise, but yeah, like the fact that the video game characters like, you know, get asked questions and not like, you know, any other characters that I think are way more interesting, that's kind of, you know, bothers me a little bit. And you know, not only that, there are some video game characters that I actually think are really good that like I just wish people paid more attention to. Like I think number 1 for me, I think would be Koopa. I feel like he's the most underrated Mario character from TCW. Like I wish people paid more attention to him. He's like personally one of my favorites, and also one of the main reasons why I had him as a main character in, you know, me and my stepbrother Carter's CNCP series back in the day. So with that very long tangent out of the way, now I'm gonna finally get into number 1. What I think is the most overrated character from my channel. And the number 1 spot is Satan, or as some people call them, the Old Spice Devil from Angry Birds Mania. I'm putting them at number 1 on the list because this character is not a main character or even a recurring character. They've only appeared in 2 episodes of Angry Birds Mania. The Some Moroning, and then A Bet for Jose from season 17. And then like the only other appearances besides that is in like, you know, a few of the Q&As and also the very end of season 1 of Leroy and the Bros. But besides that, that's about it. This character like has not appeared that often, and yet some people actually really liked them for some reason. Like, and I'm thinking in my head, are you serious? Like, it's literally one of the laziest like characters that I have on my channel in terms of like its appearance. It is literally a bottle of Old Spice body wash in the form of Satan. Like, why are people so obsessed with this character? I think if I was to predict why people like this character, it might be the fact that like, you know, the fact that Satan is, you know, basically a bottle of like Old Spice body wash. And that's like kind of like a weird concept. That's probably one of the reasons why I think people like the character. I don't know. If any of you guys out there are fans of that character, let me know in the comments. Why do you like him? I'm curious to hear. But back on topic, why them? Why do they get a good amount of attention and not characters like freaking Blue, Jewel? Hell, the freaking like Lego Movie characters don't get too much attention. Like seriously, a character who's only appeared in like 2 episodes and a few other appearances, that character gets a lot of attention? Like, are you serious? I don't know. But I think with that being said, that's about it for this video. That was my top 5 list of like characters on my channel that I think, you know, are very overrated, and also, you know, a few honorable mentions as well. But yeah, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. What did you guys think of my list? Do you guys agree or disagree with my picks? Who do you guys think are the most overrated characters on the Character Workshop channel? Feel free to let me know that as well. With that being said, that's about it. Stay tuned for whatever we're going to be doing next on this channel. Stay tuned next Friday because I have a pretty interesting video next Friday. I'm sure you guys might find it interesting. I definitely enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys will too. But besides that, this is Tyler from the Character Workshop, signing out.